Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I will introduce myself. My name is Anissa Hidiasari. I'm from PBA class. Now, I will read journal with the title Looking at the Link Between Parents' Educational Background and Student English Achievement. This study investigated the link between parents' educational background and student English achievement at one senior high school in Palembang, South Sumatra, Indonesia. 108 senior high school students were involved in this study. Data were collected through a parent's educational background questionnaire and an English test. Descriptive statistic, Pearson product moments correlations and regressions analysis were employed to analyze data. The results of the Pearson product moments correlations coefficients revealed that parents' educational background significantly correlation with the student English achievement. Additionally, the results of the linear regression analysis indicate that there was a correlation between parents' educational background and student English achievement, although the contribution was small and there were other factors that contribute to the student academic achievement. Parents' educational background is important and supporting their children's English achievement. Education is essential for the development of society. The more educated the people of a society are, the more civilized and well-disciplined the society might be. Education is also a primary need in this era of globalization. Haryanto, Mukminin, Murboyono, Muazza, and Ekatika 2016, Mukminin, Rohayati Putra Habibi, and Aina 2017. Education gives insight, grows the personality, inculcates moral values, adds knowledge, and provides skill for people who will live in a very competitive society. In every field, highly qualified people are needed. Mukminin, Haryanto, Makmur, Failasofa, Fajaryani, Tabran, dan Suyadi 2013 and Mukminin 2012. However, there are several studies focusing on the problem of education in Indonesia, including Mukminin, Lestari, Afifa Rahmadani, and Hendra 2017, and Musyadat 2030, who argue that there are some problems of education in Indonesia, including curriculum, budget, quality, purpose of the education, national examination, and learning facility. These kinds of problems have influenced the quality of education both in national and in international levels. For example, although since 1995, Indonesia has taken part consistently in every round of trends in international mathematics and science study (TIMSS), the results have not been satisfactory. Lucy 2017. Of the 38 countries participating in 1999, Indonesia ranked the 34 and the 32 in math and science respectively. Of the 38 countries participating in 1999, Indonesia ranked the 34 and the 32 in math and science respectively. In 2003, performance in math increased to 411, while the science score slipped to 420. The reverse occurs in 2007 with math performance decreased to 390 and science improved to 427. In both math and science fell in 2011 to 318, 6 and 406 respectively. In 2015, math performance increased to 397, while science performance decreased to 300. The result of Indonesian participation in TAMSS have implied that the quality of education should become the responsibility of all parties, including government, school, and family. Family is one of the important factors in supporting the education of their children. As a unit of society, the family is often a major socializing agent, so that is important in determining the child motivation to achieve success. Mainly, family has a responsibility for socializing children, for making them productive members of society. The more the parents are involved in the process of imparting education to their children, the more the children might excel in their academic career and to become productive and responsible members of society. Additionally, parents' personal education background and economic background have a significant effect on their children's education. It means that parents' educational backgrounds play an important part in their children's education. The education received by the children depends very much on the education that their parents have. To education, English is one of the compulsory subjects in Indonesian educational system. The internal and external factor, for example, influence the learner's English achievements. Furthermore, data from Education First English Proficiency Index also showed that the average score of Indonesian English proficiency was 52.74 and labeled as a moderate proficiency level. This score has placed Indonesia in the 28th rank out of 63 countries in terms in index that compares the average English language ability in different countries. The data indicate that English proficiency in Indonesia is still lower than the other countries. However, learning English is not an easy process. There are some problems of difficulties in learning English. In their study abroad, Mukminin, Habibi, Ashrafi, Makmur, and Marzulina 2018, and Mukminin, Muazzah, Hustarna, and Sari 2015, found that the problems in learning English, such as teachers' competence and lack of confidence, inappropriate curriculum, and motivated, encouraged, and gain learning strategy, not practice speaking English with English native speakers, and class environments. Some research have previously explored parents' educational background and student English achievement. Example, Apriana found that parents' educational background was significantly correlated to students' English achievements, though the correlation was weak. Also, Carnegie found that there was a strong correlation between parents' educational background and student English achievements, and found that a significant positive correlation existed between parents' education and student achievements. It can be concluded that the results of those studies are still inconsistent. Additionally, found that there was no significant relationship between parents' occupation and educational background and student achievement in learning English. The findings of the previous studies on the link between parents' educational background and students' English achievement are still mixed. The current study investigated the correlation between parents' educational background, and student English achievements at one senior high school in Palembang, South Sumatra, Indonesia. To research questions quite this study: is there any link between parents' educational background and student English achievement of the 12th grade student at one senior high school in Palembang, South Sumatra, Indonesia? And second question, does parents' educational background influence student English achievement of the 12th grade student at one senior high school in Palembang? Parents' educational background refers to parents' highest education. That means that higher level of education attained by parents. International Standard Classification of Education from UNESCO has grouped 9 levels of education. They are early childhood education, primary education, lower secondary education, upper secondary education, post-secondary non-tertiary education, circle tertiary education, bachelor or equivalent level, master or equivalent level, doctoral or equivalent level. Parents with higher level of education are also more likely to believe strongly in their abilities to help their children learn. Self-Fund 2030. Highly educated parents have a greater success in providing their children with the cognitive and language skills that contribute to early success in school. Also, at the relationship of parents' education to their children's achievement, motivation in academic area is mediated by parents' belief and behavior are likely to influence by their education experiences, and how this parental belief and behavior actually influence children's achievement, motivation in academic area. Additionally, family characteristics such as parental income, education, and family size seem to be connected to student achievement. In terms of student achievement, Algarabel and Dasi state that achievement is the competence of a person in relation to a domain of knowledge. Additionally, Sukma Dinata state the achievement of students could be seen from mastering the subject that they have taken up. Achievement refers to good result from learning. In addition, English achievement has a strong relation with the academic achievement. English achievement means the competency that is achieved by the student English subject. Being well educated, parents give benefit for their children. State that parents could serve as good role models by being conscientious, ambitious, and methodical, all of which will contribute to make their children more successful at school. Moreover, educated parents can provide their children with good chance to get good information at home. Gutla, Meta, Kuli, and Berhanun found that educated parents had more attention to the facility used by their children related to their study, especially in learning English. Students from good socio-economical and high parental educational background have good chances from getting admission in good professional courses. Parental education level also determines the faculties and cultural level of the home. Claim that educated parents often get a better job, thus with their income they are better prepared to give educational material for their children. In other words, this suggests that students manage to support their learning with good additional material because they have parents who can provide them with educational supporting materials that they need, including in learning English. And participants. In this study, we use a correlation approach to find out the link between parents' educational background and student English achievement. The first procedure was identify the parents' educational background by using educational background questionnaire, and the second procedure was give the student test a TOEFL. The next steps was analyze the link between the variables through SPSS based on the result of the educational background questionnaire and TOEFL test. 108 senior high school students were involved in this study. Data were collected through parents' educational background questionnaire and English test. Data collection and analysis. In this study, we use questionnaire and test as the instruments to gather that data concerning the link between parents' educational background and student English achievement of the 12th grade student at one senior high school in Palembang, South Sumatra, Indonesia. To obtain the information about parents' educational background, we used the questionnaire from UNESCO, which was adapted by Apriana. The questionnaire consisted of parents' educational background, which was related to parents' highest educational. The questionnaire asks about the level educational of father and mother of the student in scoring parents' education background. The student take on their parents' educational background level, including early childhood educational primary education, lower secondary education, upper secondary education, post-secondary non-tertiary education, short circle tertiary education, bachelor or equivalent level, master or equivalent level, and doctoral or equivalent level. The score was from 0 until 8. The highest level education is the higher school is. A high score indicates a higher degree of education background level. To obtain the student English achievement, we use TOEFL junior test. The purpose of the TOEFL junior test is to provide an objective measure of the degree to which students in the target population have attained proficiency and the academic and social English language skill. The dictionary of the TOEFL Junior Standard, the academic and social language skill. The dictionary of the TOEFL Junior Standard test asserts that the TOEFL Junior Standard test in English proficiency test that is not based or unlimited to any specific curriculum. Sections: listening, structure, and reading. Session contains 42 choice questions with a total listening time of 1 hour 55 minutes. TOEFL junior test scores are determined by the number of questions that a student has answered correctly. There is no penalty for a wrong category of the result of the test is grouped into very good, average, poor, and very poor. In terms of correlation and regression, it was necessary to know whether the data were normal for each variable and linear between two variables. In this study, normality test was used to find out whether the data of educational background questionnaire and TOEFL junior test were normal or not. We used a sample Kolmogorov group, similar known in SPSS. If value is higher than 0.5, then it was normal, and vice versa. In this study, linearity test was conducted to know whether the data of educational background questionnaire and TOEFL junior test were linear or not. If the score was higher than 0.05, the two variables were linear. Linearity test in SPSS was used to see if the data were linear or not. After getting the result of educational background questionnaire and TOEFL junior test of student, we use Pearson product moment correlation coefficient to find out whether or not there was a correlation between the variable. The interpretation of coefficient correlation was defined whenever percent or is higher than 0.34 Analysis was used to find out whether or not parents' education background influenced student English achievement. We identified the influence of variable by choosing the result or R-square. Simple regression analysis was used to measure two variables, the score of parents' education background as independent variable and student English achievement as dependent variable were calculated by SPSS. 108 students participated in this study. This describes statistical analysis of parents' educational background for the participants indicate that the maximum score was 8 and the lowest score was 1. The mean score of parents' educational background for the first division was 5.05 and the standard deviation was 1.588. This mean score indicates that the level of parents' educational background of participation in short cycle certainly education D2 or D3. It was revealed that from the questionnaire, the 9 levels of parents' educational background were all perceived by the student with different numbers. Primary education was at the least personal level and bachelor or equivalent level was at the most perceived for both father and mother educational background categories. The descriptive statistical analysis of English achievement for the participant indicates that the maximum score was 79 and the minimum score was a 10. The mean score of English achievement for the participant was a 47.02 and the standard deviation was 70.739. This mean score indicates that the level of student English achievement of participation is very poor. For each category, 30 students had a good English achievement. 90 students obtained an average English achievement. 5 students had a poor English achievement, and 71 students had a very poor English achievement. Conclusion: the current study investigated the correlation between parents' educational background and student English achievement at one senior high school in Palembang, South Sumatra, Indonesia. Based on the result of the present study, we found that parents' educational background were significantly correlated with student English achievement, with the category or correlation was fair. Educational, the linear regression analysis showed that parents' educational backgrounds significantly influenced the different variables student English achievement. In short, the total contribute of parent educational background and student English achievement showed a significant line, although the contribute was small, suggesting that were other factors and could contribute to their student English achievement, such as school, teacher, friends, and environment.